Welcome to Michael Trusty's Prophecy Talk, where every truth tells a story. Today, we're looking at one of the most misunderstood phrases Jesus ever spoke. Heaven and earth will pass away. For many, those words sound like the destruction of the physical universe, the stars falling, the planet burning up, and the end of all creation. But is that really what Jesus meant? Or was he talking about something far more specific and far more immediate to his audience? We find the phrase in Matthew 24:35, Mark 13:31, and Luke 21:33. Jesus says, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away." Now, we need to notice the context. He had just described events that would happen within that generation. Wars, persecution, the destruction of Jerusalem, and the fall of the temple. He wasn't speaking in isolation. He was answering his disciples' questions about when those things would take place. To understand this phrase, we have to think like a first-century Jew. In the Hebrew scriptures, heaven and earth often meant more than the sky above and the ground beneath our feet. It could be a symbolic description of a covenant world, the structure of God's relationship with his people. The temple itself was often described in heaven and earth terms. Its inner sanctuary represented heaven, and its courts represented earth. In Isaiah 51:15-16, God says, "I have put my words in your mouth, to plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth, to say to Zion, 'You are my people.'" That's covenant language, and God planted a heaven and earth order when he established his people under the old covenant. So when Jesus said heaven and earth will pass away, he was announcing the end of that old covenant order, the passing of the temple system, the priesthood, the sacrifices, and the law as it was given at Sinai. That world was about to end. And it did in AD 70 when Rome destroyed Jerusalem and the temple, fulfilling his words down to the last detail. But he didn't stop there. He added, "My words will never pass away." In other words, while the old covenant heaven and earth would vanish, the new covenant he was bringing would stand forever. His kingdom would not be tied to a physical temple or a single nation, but would reach every tribe, tongue, and people. Understanding this changes the way we read prophecy. Jesus wasn't predicting the end of the physical universe. He was declaring the arrival of a new, unshakable kingdom. And that's exactly what Hebrews 12:28 says. "Since we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, let us be thankful." The heaven and earth that passed away was the old order. The heaven and earth we live in now is the everlasting kingdom of God. And that's what Jesus really meant. This is Michael Trusty's Prophecy Talk, where every truth tells a story.